Okay, chapter 2, section 3. I hear mommy already. Okay, the altar of God. So, yeah, this chapter is so helpful to me. It's all about like getting back to the purpose of life. And it's the kind of thing I wish I read this morning before I did my day, and kind of acted a little crazy at one point. I had a moment, and the beauty of my spiritual practice or my path has been the recovery is so quick. The recovery is quicker. Because I'm almost like, did that happen? Okay, should I make a big deal? What should I do? Should I cry? Should I move on? It was like not detrimental to have a little bit of a freak out and just lose my cool a little bit. I came back. And so the altar of God. So first it starts talking about, I'll read this part. Perceiving the body as a temple is only the first step in correcting this distortion. So kind of idolizing the body, because it alters only part of it. It does recognize that atonement in physical terms is impossible. The next step, however, is to realize that a temple is not a structure at all. Its true holiness lies at the inner altar around which the structure is built. Okay, so then it says, for perfect effectiveness, the atonement, which again is the undoing of fear, the atonement, the liberation from separation. For perfect effectiveness, the atonement belongs at the center of the inner altar, where it undoes the separation and restores the wholeness of mind. So somehow you got to take the atonement, you got to shove it in the center of your altar. The heart. But it's also the mind. The mind has to be clear about what it's seeing and how it's perceiving. Okay. Then it talks about, then I like this line. It says, eventually, everyone begins to recognize, however dimly, that there must be a better way, because separation never feels good. You don't get what you think you want. And you like destroy. It's destruction. Okay. Again, later it says in paragraph 4, spiritual vision literally cannot see error and merely looks for atonement. It merely looks to liberate from suffering. It doesn't look for reasons to be upset. It looks for the way out. Which I have to say, as I was kind of upset today, I had the faintest voice, which was like somehow encouraging me to see the world as illusory and to neutralize my thinking for sure. And eventually I prayed, which was so great too. It says, okay. Finally, bring it home, paragraph 5. It says, my favorite, I have so many circles and things. Whenever you are afraid, you are deceived, and your mind cannot serve the Holy Spirit. And afraid doesn't mean, I'm so afraid of, it can mean anger too. I think any form of upset, whenever you are upset, you are deceived, and your mind cannot serve the Holy Spirit. This starves you by denying you your daily bread. And then it says later that God's sons must learn to look upon the world as a means of healing the separation. So the atonement. And it says the atonement is the guarantee that they will ultimately succeed. So it's like, it's saying like the atonement is a force. It's more powerful than any of these other ways of seeing and false ways of creating and miscreations we're having. It's like a force that will take over. And it looks like in our world right now, it's not winning. And yet, all of this destruction is so unhelpful. It will lead us to that which is helpful, because we're too smart to self-destruct. I mean, sometimes we do, or we are. But in the end, we won't somehow. And I had that fear of my own self, just that I couldn't make good decisions for myself, or I couldn't trust myself, but it's like when I go back to thinking of this friend of mine who I think is like the perfect wife lady, dang, she's my hero. I think she has that center, she has her center right on. So it's easy for her not to get upset by, I'm not in her life every day. I don't know what she gets upset by, but I'm telling you, I have this sense that I'm being guided for her to be like my mentor. Because somewhere along the lines, I made it valuable to be upset by things not being how I want them to be, which is so humanly and understandably normal. It's just not what I want anymore. So again, the altar of God is like what this inspired me to do, is to be like, okay. And it's funny, I remember it must have been like 2003 or 4 when I was dating someone who we went to visit his family, and we stayed in their house, and they were very Christian, and so we had to sleep in separate rooms, and that was fine. We were in college, and it's okay. Or I was out of college, but and then every night they prayed as a family, and then in the morning, I remember the father of the family, so my boyfriend at the time's uncle, was like blasting, but he was playing this Christian upbeat, like gospel music in the morning before he went to work, like getting his spirit all worked up. And I was like, okay, this is what it's about. Getting your spiritual classes on in the morning, getting all amped up that like, okay, don't forget, here's what we're here for, here's what we're looking for, here's what we're avoiding, but mainly here's what we're looking for. And this is saying, look for the atonement. Look, and this is what the Byron Katie work has helped me, because when I go off, that work is saying you are one with the thing you are judging. And it brings you in a process that sometimes you want to avoid, because you're like, oh, don't tell me I'm one with that too. Oh my God, why does it bother me so much then? But yeah, and so I'm willing. Let's pray. All right, so we're so grateful to take this moment and be energized by the truth. We're grateful that we are open to hear it and it's available to us. We're grateful to replace the goal and bring the altar of God and that oneness like a magnet, that we magnetize to us all experiences that demonstrate the oneness, the unity, and that we begin to naturally release all these temptations to separate, to blame, to make wrong, to make an enemy out of anyone who we love or we don't know. And we're just grateful to lay down this way of despising and not liking, just like Justine always now says, no, I don't like it. And instead of being the toddler who can only say, I don't like it, we're learning how to say what we would like. And what we would like is inner peace. And what we would like is to radiate love and to magnetize love. So that's what we're interested in seeing. That's what we are focusing on now. We declare that in our willingness to see it, it's the healing's done and it's corrected. Until potentially we forget again, and all we need to do is ask for correction, we will receive it. So we share the benefits of our healing, our coming back into our heart, and all the gifts that provides us. We share that with everyone because we are one with them, and the atonement is happening. We give thanks, and so it is. Amen. Have a great day.